It's always great when you get to a new NFL season. So many months of anticipation and buzz and anxious energy and excitement, and now you get to this point. And one of the cool things about the NFL is that lots of fan bases can have potentially reasons to be excited, reasons to be optimistic, reasons for hope. I point to last year as a perfect example of that. While there were a number of people that might have expected the Rams to get to the Super Bowl, especially with the big trade for Matthew Stafford, nobody was picking the Cincinnati Bengals to get there. Nobody was picking them to get there. How many people were even picking them to go to the playoffs? The point I'm getting at here is you see this a lot, and the parity in the NFL is really cool in that your team can suck one year and the next year they can absolutely be in the mix. It's not unheard of. Like you think back even a couple of years before that, the San Francisco 49ers, the reason they were able to take Nick Bosa number 2 overall is because they absolutely sucked the year before, and that season they went to the Super Bowl and came this close to winning one. Same thing with the Bengals. So it can happen. It's the reason why so many people get so excited. And that's what's cool about it to me. And Thursday night, man, what a show put on by the Buffalo Bills. I picked the Rams to win because I know the history of the defending Super Bowl champions at home is usually pretty good. It wasn't here, that's for sure. And if Buffalo didn't have, 4 turnovers, that game would have been a whole hell of a lot uglier. So for those of you out there that are like me, that are picking the Bills to go to the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl, like you point to that game and you say, if they clean up their act a little bit and take care of the ball better, who the hell is going to beat them when it matters? Meanwhile, for the Rams, you look at them and say, uh-oh, they might have some trouble there. But it's week 1, got a long, long season ahead of us. So, with that said, since we are starting off a new NFL season, it's time for me to give you my week 1 picks. Yeah, the weekly picks are back. They're all in the description box, so read them and weep. And the way I do this is I'll give you the matchup, the spread, and then talk about whether I'm picking a team straight up to win or if I'm kind of splitting the difference here instead of doing like different videos or focusing on one or the other. I'll pick the winner. And then if I say, hey, this team I think will win, but this team's going to cover the 9-point spread. So that way some of you sometimes will ask, like, who are you picking against the spread or who are you picking to win it straight up? That's where I'm going here, just for the heck of it. All right, so let's go to the early Sunday matchups. You've got the Saints traveling to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. Jameis Winston versus Marcus Mariota. Sign me up for that crap. Yeah, it's a 2015 draft battle. The Saints are favored by 5.5, which feels really generous. Week 1 on the road. There's going to be some crazy crap that happens in week 1. I want to be very clear here. I totally expect my picks in week 1 to suck. They almost always do. I'm lucky to be 500 because there's some crazy, wild, wacky, unpredictable crap that happens because we're guessing at this point. We really don't know. So I'm going to take the Falcons to win plus the 5.5. Another interesting matchup. You've got the 49ers and the Bears taking on each other. Trey Lance versus Justin Field, a matchup of 2021 draft pick quarterbacks. The 49ers, for some reason, are favored by 7. I don't have much of a beef with the 49ers being favored, but being favored by 7 feels a bit generous here. I think they'll win the game, but I'm going to take Chicago to cover the 7-point spread, absolutely. You've got Mitchell Trubisky and the Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to Cincinnati to take on Joe Burrow and the Bengals. I'm going to go ahead and smash Cincinnati minus the 7 here. I really am. You've got the Eagles and Jalen Hurts traveling to Detroit to take on the Lions. Watch your kneecaps, Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. The Eagles are favored by 5 here, and I really don't know what to make of this game. I like the Eagles to win, but for some reason I like the Lions to maybe backdoor cover, so give me the Detroit plus the 5. You've got New England traveling to Miami to take on the revamped and improved Miami Dolphins. Mike McDaniel at the helm. Tua's got weapons. There's no more excuses. No more excuses. And Tua's history against the Dolphins, one reason or another, hasn't been very bad at all. Give me the Dolphins minus the 3.5. You've got the Ravens. Lamar Jackson's back in the fold. Traveling to New York or New Jersey, whatever the hell you want to call it, to take on Mr. Elite himself, Joe Flacco. It's a Joe Flacco revenge game. Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco. The Ravens are favored by 6.5. Do you buy into the Joe Flacco revenge tour? No. Give me the Ravens minus a 6.5. Got the Doug Peterson-led Jacksonville Jaguars traveling to Washington to take on Carson Wentz, Ron Rivera, and the Commanders. The Commanders! Hey, we're the Commanders! I'll take Washington minus a 3. Here's another one of these revenge games. The Browns with Jacoby Brissett traveling to Carolina to take on Baker Mayfield and the Carolina Panthers. There you go. I think the Browns are actually small favorites in this one. You know what? I'm going to roll with Baker Mayfield on Sunday. Let's hope he gets revenge on his old team for the way they treated him. Carolina plus the 0.5 point to win. You've got Matt Ryan and the Colts traveling to Houston to take on Lovie Smith and the Texans. I will take the Colts minus a 7. You've got Brian Dabble and the Giants traveling to Tennessee to take on the Titans. I'll take the Titans minus a 5.5. Switching over to the late Sunday afternoon games. It should be a good one in the NFC North. You've got the Packers traveling to Minnesota to take on Kevin O'Connell and the Minnesota Vikings. I'll take the Packers minus a 1.5 here, but it sounds like Alan Lazard might not play. Might not be the best spot early for the Vikings, or for the Packers, excuse me. Vikings might have the chance here to sneak one out early on. They better take advantage of that. You've got the Chiefs traveling to Arizona to take on the newly paid Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. Give me the Chiefs minus a 6. You've got the Raiders with their new wide receiver, Devontae Adams, traveling to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers. So assuming that that's going to be a home game for the Raiders because nobody cares about the Chargers in Los Angeles, which is a shame, but it is what it is. Even though the Chargers are favored by 3.5 in that game, I'm going to pick the Raiders in an upset plus a 3.5. The Sunday night matchup, I hope, is as good as the Week 1 matchup was last year between these two teams, Tampa Bay and Dallas. You remember that? That was a really damn good game. That was Dak coming back off of the elbow injury, but they almost won that one. The Bucs are favored by 2.5 here. I'm not quite sure I'm digging the vibe as much on the Bucs this year, especially when you talk about Brady. He retired and then he came back. I like Dallas in this matchup. Give me Dallas plus the 2.5. And then Monday night, since we love drama, here's some drama for you. Russell Wilson and his new team, the Denver Broncos, travel to Seattle to take on his old team, the Seahawks, and Pete Carroll, the 12th man, and all of that. God, let's hope this game doesn't suck. Sometimes it's hard with these Week 1 Monday night games because these things can get crazy sometimes. I'm kind of disappointed that there's not a Monday night doubleheader. That kind of sucks. I don't know why they went without that this year, but anyways, at least it won't be like Louis Riddick and Dan Orlovsky on the call. It'll be Buck and Aikman. As much as some of you might not like them, they're certainly better than what the hell ESPN had otherwise. I'll take the Broncos minus the 6.5. Lots of intriguing subplots here. Baker Mayfield taking on his old team. Russell Wilson taking on his old team. You've got all types of things going on. Trey Lance versus Justin Fields. So some interesting spots. The Joe Flacco Revenge Tour, baby! So as always, you're welcome to give me your picks in the comment section of this video. We'll see just how bad I did, I guess, in about 2 days, 3 days or so. All right, I'm out.